We've had Meadow Brook on a few times throughout the pandemic. It is such an incredible place to visit. Have you been there before?
I have, yes. It is an incredible place, yes.
And I know that I've been to a few events there as well, but a lot of things had to be closed down at the hall over the past year or limited. But fingers crossed, things are getting back to normal at Meadow Brook. To talk a little bit more, let's bring in William Matt. He's the new executive director. Great to have you with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Nothing like changing jobs in the middle of a pandemic.
I have a little bit of a commute, so actually working remotely still occasionally is kind of helpful. So it hasn't been too bad.
Well, that's good to know as well. I will say, on days like today, too, when it's rainy and dreary, it's nice working remotely, isn't it?
I'm at the office today, so I had to drive through the rain. But, it seems like it rains every time I come or go, but I make the best of it, so it's not too bad. And I certainly enjoy coming in here.
So with that, do you go by William or Bill?
Bill.
Okay, Bill. So I notice on your profile it's William Bill. So, Bill, how are things at the hall? Are they back open now, or are you doing limited visitation?
We are open. We are open for tours Friday through Mondays. And so that's, I think, like 1 day shorter of a schedule than typical. But we are doing our wedding receptions and wedding ceremonies. There's a small capacity limit probably till July 1, but we started in early May and we're hosting about 3 weddings a week. So business is back. It's just a little bit more cautious in how we approach it.
So are you trying to play catch up on some of these weddings that were maybe postponed from last year?
Well, we like to think that, our numbers are up because we're so great, but there is some residual effect from previous years. So, some were postponed or rescheduled from last year, and, we have them back on the calendar this year. But our numbers are, higher than 2019, which is kind of our last regular year.
So that's good to know. I'm thinking about some of these poor brides planning these weddings, and then the capacity limits, they were constantly changing. And when you're planning a wedding, well, you kind of need a head count. And
helpful.
So, I could imagine like you have 250 and then no, we can only have 50. Who gets eliminated from that list? So probably just easier to postpone, right?
Yeah, I think in a lot of cases it was, because you don't want to exclude people. You don't want your ceremony to be less special because you have to cut down to, a quarter of your anticipated guest list. But everybody was scrambling. And so we really appreciate, the clients that had things booked and working with us and being flexible because, there wasn't really a lot that we could do either. The entire state was going through this. And, we try to accommodate the best we can, but appreciate, their flexibility as well.
We know people are looking forward to getting back outdoors and back to enjoying life that we used to know. It's going into the summer. Any events coming up that people should know about?
Actually next week our summer concert series kicks off. And so we have, that will be going on monthly for, all the way into October, I believe. And like I mentioned before, our touring is open, and so those are available for everybody to come in and experience. And you have to pardon me because since I am brand new, I'll have to refer to some notes. I don't know this as well as Jeff did.
No, it's perfectly okay. We're okay with that.
Also, I'm told to mention yoga in the garden, but I will say that our gardens are looking fantastic because we had what they call planting day maybe 2 weeks ago, and we have incredible volunteer group that comes in every week, very dedicated and self-organized. It's huge numbers of people. And in planting day, they probably planted 1,000 or more plants and flowers all over the grounds, just in time for kind of a spring rebloom. And so the grounds are looking amazing, and it's really beautiful right now.
What's been the funnest thing about this job for you since you've joined the team?
The funnest thing for me is the hall itself, kind of exploring different areas of it. I was here at least 2 weeks, and I was still discovering new hallways and new rooms, and kind of wandering around and finding these features that are kind of built in, sometimes hidden. And so, you really don't get to see those on a typical tour. You have to do the behind the scenes tour, for some of these things. But, there's the secret stairways, and there's the ladder up to the playroom and passages and windows and things, going out on the balcony to overlook the property, from the fourth floor, from the flagpole. So, really getting to poke around and like open up closets, and everywhere you go, there's something amazing every room.
Bill Matt with us here on the MegaCast. He's the executive director over at Meadow Brook Hall. And with that, Bill, you had me at that one word, secret stairway. Are there really secret passages in the house?
There are, yeah. There's probably 4 I can think of right offhand.
What?
So from the library, there's a secret staircase, and a lot of the design was built in with the paneling, and so it's a door like a bookcase, but it's actually a door, not a panel. And so if you open it, there may be filing cabinets in there, or in some cases there's stairs, for instance, into a magazine room off of the library. Each of the children's bedrooms have a staircase or a ladder that takes them upstairs above their room to a playroom. And of course, then there's the most famous one that goes from the game room in the lowest level up to Alfred's study, and then to Alfred's bedroom. And so he had a direct route up and down that staircase to his favorite spots of the house.
That is so cool. And, for those that, I'm sorry, we probably should have started off with this, but for those not familiar with the house, give us the history.
That's actually my favorite part about it's not the funnest, but it's most interesting to me is the history of the house. And not just the house really, but the founder, Matilda Dodge Wilson. Really, her story is just amazing. And so the history, I like to think that Meadow Brook didn't begin in 1924, when it was built. And so I'm going to be looking back into previous times, who inhabited Southeast Michigan? Why is the geographical land so special here with the rolling hills and the water sources? And it looks like, such a pastoral fields and things like that. What led to the development before Meadowbrook Farms? But Meadowbrook Farms was a property purchased by John Dodge of Dodge Motor Car Company and his wife, Matilda. And after John Dodge passed away, Matilda remarried Alfred Wilson, and then they began construction of Meadowbrook Hall on the farm. So the farm was 1,400 acres, right?
Wow.
So it's a massive space, and they traveled all over the world on their honeymoon and elsewhere, looking at a lot of European and English Tudor, hence the Tudor Revival architecture that's pretty strong here in the building. And so they got all kinds of design plans and sketchbooks and notebooks and things like that. So one of our strongest features really is our collection of works on paper, which are these designs, these blueprints, these drawings. It's just an amazing collection because they were so prolific in their research. So Matilda and Alfred built the home. It took a few years, and then the Roaring Twenties, the Great Depression hit right about that time, and it wasn't used like it was intended, but it was used, for the family. And beyond the home itself, when Matilda's greatest legacy really was, she gifted the entire property, the entire estate, Meadowbrook Estate, including the hall, to then MSU Oakland to form it. It was the creation of Oakland University. And so, what a tremendous legacy to leave behind, where you have 20,000 students every year that graduate, attend Oakland University, and you have generations of people that were able to benefit from education. It goes to her kind of root, as a kind of a working class, blue collar, educated woman in the 20s. If you can imagine the glass ceiling that she must have faced. And I like to think of her relationship with the Dodge brothers, because people say that she was, the Dodge brothers' secretary. But at the time, when you're creating a motor car company, an empire like that, I would say that she was a co-equal partner in that relationship with those two brothers, because while they're inventing and they're selling and marketing all of their products and things like that, somebody's running the business, and that was Matilda.
Wow. What a fascinating woman. And like you said, such a legacy that she leaves behind as well. Again, we're talking with Bill May. He's the executive director over at Meadow Brook Hall. And with that, if we can ask, I know that, you have the summer concert series. There's so many other things that are going on over at Meadow Brook. How is it working? Do people still need to get tickets online? Is capacity limited right now, or will you get back to normal starting next week?
So we expect to be entirely back to normal next week, but currently, I think a lot of cultural institutions, and from all my peers and colleagues I've spoken to, we had to quickly develop some online capacity that we really didn't have before, but it actually kind of dragged us into the future, right? So now we were, able to offer tours via app or mobile tours or online tickets, for instance, that maybe we hadn't done before. And so that's a feature that, really, in today's day and age, you kind of come to expect it, right? And so we will continue to offer all of our tickets and, for events and tours to be purchased online. We will stagger that if there's a need to, so that we can only, allow in, maybe 15 or 20 people at a time or something like that with that particular time slot. And our wedding capacities, really, it's right now it should only impact like about another week's worth of weddings, but they're still at 50% capacity, only due to the fact that if they did need to come inside for a kind of weather shelter situation, we wouldn't have to leave anybody behind. And so, we're thankfully through the most limited or restricted part of COVID. And so people coming to the house, of course, if you're, you don't have to wear a mask if you have had your vaccination. And it's very much like most other businesses that's reopening with a flourish.
Well, we are so excited that it is reopening, especially in the summertime as well, because it's a great time, like you said, Bill, to go visit the hall, because the grounds themselves are worth going and exploring as well. Where can people get more information?
meadowbrookhall.org. And also, of course, you can follow us on all the social media outlets, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And our phone number, if anybody wants to actually talk to somebody, is 248-364-6200.
The old school way.
That's
Picking
right.
up the phone, right?
They'll need that.
Well, Bill, we so appreciate your time today, and we wish you best of luck in the new position as well.
Thank you. I look forward to meeting you at some point, and welcome everybody out to Meadow Brook, and have a wonderful, weekend. Father's Day weekend is coming up, and hope everybody has a great time enjoying the space.